morning again. We couldn't have started with a more powerful panel than one I am moderating today. A great pleasure and honor to be part of this panel with distinguished speakers. So before I start, this panel is all about India innovation and how government is leaving no stone unturned to ensure that we become not just the third largest startup ecosystem, not one of the most progressive entrepreneur ecosystem, but we are actually leading the way for the world for innovation. And that's really what I'm hearing a lot now, that we are not copying anybody. We are not building for the world. We are building much ahead of the curve. And before I start, a few questions that I would want to pose to the panelists. I would like a few opening remarks from the panelists. I will start with Neeta ma'am. So if you could share a few thoughts, what's up?
Good morning, everyone. First of all, it's a pleasure, and I'm really excited to be here with all you youngsters here after a long time. And as we've been hearing, entrepreneurship is something which is something very empowering. It's something which really gives you a sense of purpose, and it's really exciting to see so much of the way the startup ecosystem and the way entrepreneurship is kind of, I should say, booming or blossoming in India today. And you go to colleges, you go to schools. Forget about colleges and schools. So many, people who are from masses, even who are doing, so to say, street vendors, or who are doing, they also thinking of, doing some kind of entrepreneurship and really scaling their surveys or their business. Is too exciting to see this, and therefore I look forward to this event and more to sharing my views, learning from others, my esteemed panelists, as well as you all who are the real heroes, in terms of who've taken this challenge and doing something, something which you connect or you feel purpose with. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and greetings from Department of Science and Technology to one and all present here. So, Department of Science and Technology, much before this Startup India, Stand Up India, from the Red Force PM gave a clarion call. We had, since our main target groups for empowering institutions with research rigor was our key mandate, we thought of why not translating this key mandate in form of entrepreneurship, tech-based entrepreneurship, because institutions are seedbeds of new ideas. So ever since I joined DST in late 90s, I was involved in spearheading many programs for tech-based entrepreneurship. And when India really was recognized as a IT services powerhouse in 2000, we really came out with a very pioneering initiative, technology business incubators, and that really scaled up post Startup India program. So DST has been the front runner from the Government of India's side to really create the requisite ecosystem, which is required not only to impart the education, hand-holding, capacity building of our new age, you can say, students, youth, but also training the trainers. Like, we need mentors, we need people to handhold the budding entrepreneurs, or nowadays it is called startups. So with that kind of ecosystem creation, DST really has invested a lot, which led to the vertical and horizontal growth of technology business incubation program in India. And happy to share, Dr. Ramnan happens to chair the highest committee on incubation and startups. We rolled out a new program, Nidhi, National Initiative of Developing and Harnessing Innovations, not only to really concentrate on typical hubs of entrepreneurship, which are our city, metro cities, but also really to really trickle down to tier 2, tier 3. And there's a new, when I was heading that particular division in DST, I rolled out a new program, Inclusive Technology Business Incubator, because we need to reach out which are unreached so far. So really, whether it's the Northeast, whether it's like grassroots, rural, so that takes care of where entrepreneurship has to spread its wings all over across. So I could really see we could write three distinct ways of entrepreneurship. Initially, in 90s, it was converting job seekers to job generators. And then we created a network of science and technology entrepreneurs park, largely hardware intensive. When IT services took a boom, we created technology business incubators where we focused on knowledge to wealth creation. That was the key mandate. And now we are stuck with, we say billion of people, but millions of problems. So how we become a problem solver. So really blending creativity with design thinking and coming out with the problems to solve our local needs. It is the new trend which is happening in entrepreneurship. You heard of the what Mr. Gurnani talked about. We need to be really self-reliant in multiple ways, Atmanirbhar in multiple ways, and that is going to be new mantra for our entrepreneurship, and we are at the right cusp as we speak today. No better time to really opt for entrepreneurship, because if you really trace back what China has been doing, it has been more than 2-3 decades where they are. So if we really want to target our overarching mission of Viksit Bharat by 2047, this is the most opportune time to really unravel the areas where India wants to position globally, and also really translate its current journey of fourth largest economy and come in the league of developed nations. So deep tech startups and inclusive entrepreneurship is going to be really game changer for charting India's growth story. Thank you.
Thank you, Sachin, and it's indeed wonderful to be in this very distinguished panel here with Neetaji and Anitaji. And it's also a great opportunity for me to reflect upon a topic that I am very, very deeply involved with, and I get very excited every time I get a chance to interact with the audience like this. I've been part of 3 entrepreneurial journeys in my life, 2 with the corporate sector or the IT sector, and 1 with the government as the mission director of the Atal Innovation Mission. And I would say that this has been a tremendous learning experience, and I think Mr. Gurnani beautifully captured this journey of where we were and what is ahead of us. As a part of TCS and as a part of the IT industry, we have now grown a $250 billion IT/ITS industry, which is the envy of many a country. As a part of CMC, which was acquired by the Tata Group and which was a Government of India organization, we embarked upon how do we take a Government of India organization and convert it into a global system engineering integration organization. And that was the second part of the journey that I was involved in, to the tremendous success of the company and to the shareholders and the stakeholders. And then in 2016, I got a chance to become a part of the Atal Innovation Mission, whose mission was very simple, 2 things. Number 1, how do we create a problem-solving, innovative, entrepreneurial mindset in the youth of our people? And the second is, how do you create an ecosystem that's going to support these creative ideas, these innovative and imaginative ideas, convert them into innovations that's going to benefit not only themselves, but also the rest of the world. And as Anitaji rightly said, we want to create a nation of job creators, not just job seekers. That was the purpose of the mission. And I think the Government of India has done a tremendous job over the last several years. I think you're going to hear more about it. Some of it you heard just now with the DST, in being able to foster this ecosystem of innovation and entrepreneurship. And as Gurnani Saab said, if you go to any universities, that's the talk. We talk about innovation, we talk about entrepreneurship, we talk about startups. When I was graduating from IIT Bombay in 1981, none of these topics were talked about. We were just seeing which university to apply for and go to the university abroad and get a nice job. That was the topic at that time, and today the topic is very different. This topic is extremely relevant, and I just want to end up with 2 things. Number 1, we are one of the fastest growing economies of the world, growing at 6 to 8%, and we have the opportunity to grow at 8 to 10%. And in this global landscape that we have, the economic upheavals that are happening across the world, this is the right time to be able to exercise that opportunity and leapfrog into a position that India richly deserves. The second is, We are living in a world where technology is changing the very shape of the world and the way you are experiencing the world and the world is experiencing you. Technology has become affordable, accessible, available, and advanced. And therefore, it has become a great leveler for all of us here in this room and beyond to be able to leapfrog again without having the burden of legacy, that somebody else is more advanced. AI is in its nascent stage, and all the other technologies are in their nascent stage. So we have the opportunity to leapfrog. And the third and the most important thing here is we are one of the youngest countries of the world. We have 65% of our population, which is 1.4 billion, under 35 years old, and we have 50% under 25 years old. And a lot of that youthful fire and energy is what I see here coursing through this nation. Now, this energy that is coursing through the nation is a very powerful transformational energy. And how do you convert that? That is requiring innovation and entrepreneurship. What has brought us here as job seekers is not going to take us to the next phase. And therefore, the entrepreneurial discussion that we are having today and so many distinguished speakers are speaking is so very relevant and so very important.
Thank you, panelists. That was a great start. So I'll start with you, Mr. Ramanathan. So what's the vision? You know, everybody's talking about AI. You are at the helm of affairs when it comes to AI. So what's your vision for now to maybe next 10 years? How do you see AI innovation evolving?
First, let me answer about innovation. We are now at a position of 38 in the Global Innovation Index. I firmly believe, and I'm convinced, that within the next 10 years, we can be among the global top 10 most innovative countries of the world. Now, why do I say that? I say that because of the three reasons that I had outlined earlier. The rising economy, the technology as a great leveler and affordable and accessible technology available for us, and the fact that we have some of the brightest people in the world. I mean, there's no doubt that the intellectual horsepower that is there in our country is tremendous. So we are in a position to have a vision that we will be global leaders, not just in providing AI services or AI as we can become the AI hub for services across the world, but we can create great products and great solutions because there is a demand. The demand in India, which is 1.4 billion people, the consumer demand, the demand of 300 million people being added to the middle class rising economy. We already have 300 million people in the middle class rising economy, but we are going to add another 300 million people. And when we are adding such, we need to fulfill that demand. And to fulfill that demand, you need the best of technologies and the best of solutions to come out. And AI is providing us not only a means of addressing the demand, but India to also be a global leader in having societal impact. We have 650,000 villages, 715 districts, 8,000 small towns and cities, and we have 115 districts which are called aspirational districts, which are at the bottom of the pyramid in terms of basic access to healthcare, education, clean drinking water, and sanitation. AI, because of the data that we are generating, because of all of this huge amount of resources that we have, has the opportunity to have great societal impact by implementing solutions which are societal friendly. And the third part, which is very important from the point of view of leadership or the vision, is that we can actually play a huge role in sustainability and climate change. That's going to become a big problem. We have only one planet, we have one Earth. We need to make sure that that is taken care of. And India can play a role because they have to solve the problem for themselves. And in the process, they can solve it for the rest of the world.
So I'm going to come to Dr. Neeta on this. So what's the sustainable tech play? Dr. Neeta, what's the sustainable tech play that we have for innovation footprint, especially from a climate and energy missions that you're running?
Yeah, so just taking a cue from what Dr. Ramnan has just outlined. Needless to say, climate change is no longer a narrative itself. It's a reality, and we see the way our weather patterns are getting shifted. You see, I think I was just going through a WhatsApp message of my friend in Kolkata. They are having also unprecedented rain, and they are just worried that Durga Pandals, like they won't be able to visit. So there's a strong nexus today of climate change with water security, you can say health, and agriculture, productivity, and also livelihood opportunities. So if any place is devastated with the climate sort of hazards, we have to really strengthen our disaster level preparedness, how to deal with those kind of disasters. And that's why during Paris Agreement, which is much more lauded, where we have to limit Earth's temperature to 2 degrees centigrade, all 195 nations, heads of states, sit annually in a year to take stock. What, as a responsible nation, they have been doing, what kind of programs. And thanks to our visionary leadership, we have near-term plans. Then we have a plans for Viksit Bharat, where we want to be energy secured. We want to really cut down the emissions in a big way. 2.5 billion tons of CO2 emissions have to be cut. We have to really integrate in terms of energy mix the non-fossil fuel, whether it's a solar, whether it's a wind, geothermal, or biomass related. So we are ahead in the game. We have really crossed 50% of non-fossil fuel of energy mix, which was slated to be for 2030 and 25 itself. So close to, we have 242 gigawatts of non-fossil fuel out of the total installed capacity of 484 gigawatts. And therefore, in that direction, we want to really, as a part of Department of Science and Technology initiative, we are not only focusing on to enhance the research intensity from various institutions to come out with the solutions which can be really translated from lab to market. So enhancing technology readiness level to manufacturing readiness level is the current need for all solutions which are tailored or which are addressing climate tech related issues. And in that regard, we are also, DST is also a founding member and part of the multilateral initiative, which this was also coined by our Honorable PM, Mission Innovation. So Mission Innovation consists of 23 countries and European Commission, because these countries contribute to 80% of carbon emissions on the planet Earth. So we owe a lot to really come out with some that kind of programs where we decarbonize the respective nations. So I'm working on those directions, and apart from that, I would also like to highlight why climate and energy is going to be the next big thing for a decade or beyond, apart from, and where we have to marry AI in a big way. The recent Mission Innovation Ministerial happened in Busan last month only, where we discussed about energy for AI and AI for energy. So how it is going to transform the energy landscape. And Nandan, I would like to really corroborate what Nandan Nilekani has also envisioned is how next revolution, unlike UPI, we can have energy revolutions, where we can really involve each and every, you can say, citizen of the country. Take, for example, in the rural part, how our rural people can be producer, consumer, and seller of energy through biomass, seen solar rooftops, EVs, energy storage. So if we really want to envision that India in the years to come, UPI and marry it with the digital stack, unified energy interface, if we really blend all this, I think India can really showcase the world the way through technology we can really lead our transformational journey through variety of avenues. And now we need to really have a sector focused approach. We cannot be only, so India mission or SAMI, we had recently had the SAMICON, and DST is driving the quantum mission, National Mission on Cyber Physical Systems. So we have to really work on mission mode on at least 10, 12 areas of technologies, and really percolate down to rural India as well for equitable and you can say, inclusive growth for India.
Great. So we've got the framework ready or the playbook ready, Neeta ma'am. But really, I mean, whenever I go out, there's a lot of question about data privacy, the discipline in terms of the innovation which is happening. So my question to you would be that, how do you bring digital trust, data privacy, and those tick marks to get India onto the higher slab?
Thank you. It's a very interesting question, and I'm sure with Data Protection Act on the corner is going to be really a point of discussion for next 5 years as I go. But I very strongly believe that to say that if we feel that data privacy or data uh, protection and innovation is normally, I've seen conversation that they are somehow kind of on the crossroads or kind of conflicting with each other. But I very strongly feel it's not so. Let me just give you some this thing. First of all, my first, input or whichever way you may take it is basically today, because data protection uh, and as AI is going to go, we need to use more and more data. We need to leverage this data to be really able to make AI, which is really useful to us, which is making impact in our lives. Therefore, whatever you build today, please build privacy as by design as an embedded principle. Do not think that I'll put these things as an afterthought. So be it anonymization, be it, what do you call it, encryption, or be it consent-based system, all these things have to be part of your solution, whichever you are building it. Second thing which is very important is that bring in a lot of transparency. Especially when you're startups, you are entrepreneurs building up new solutions, at the first, bring this transparency with the user, that whatever data you are collecting, what data you are collecting, how are you really going to use this data going forward, and be upfront very clear about it. Believe me, if this kind of a clarity will build some kind of a relation or some kind of a trust among your users and really take you forward. And the best part is today, and we've already seen, like DigiYatra was being speaking, it's a classic example how they are really bringing so much of innovation, but at the same time following all principles of data protection. There are also examples where, which many, even these social media companies are now trying to build into it. So with kind of AI, kind of edge computing, and the kind of infrastructure we have today, it is very much possible to capture this data, use it, but at the same time, keep it, follow all those principles of data protection and privacy. And I think we should abide by this, but with innovation so that we can leave these things. So one thing which is a very simple example, whenever you're doing any kind of authentication, when you're doing any kind of identity, better to use one of the public digital platforms which is being had an oversight of government, like what is Aadhaar. When you're taking payments, make use of UPI, because these institutions have already established themselves. They not only help you in building that trust, but at the same time, they also cut down your cost to run this business. They help you scale quickly. They help you build quickly. So if you follow these small things and build your solutions, I don't see it's a challenge. It's more of an opportunity if you go forward.
I'm going to stick with you and speak about tier two. All the panelists spoke about tier two, and I'm at one of our other ventures, Franchise India, we do a lot of tier two, tier three kind of entrepreneurship, and we are seeing, India is not just a very large consumption opportunity, consumer opportunity. We are also now moving these consumer into becoming entrepreneurs, where tier two, tier three is creating new innovation. So I want to talk about the e-governance and to empower startups. And in broader sense, businesses. What are the initiatives that you think are path-breaking in that regard?
See, if you look at it, if India to truly become Viksit, we have to really work on this 500 million people, which you also said in your presentation. And these are the people who are living in these tier 2 cities and tier 3 cities of these places. One thing which has been earlier also said, technology has been a great leveler, a great enabler for these people or in these cities to become entrepreneurs, to be able to build solutions. Because what you need for technology, another good thing in India has happened in last decade or so is this penetration of mobile networks, data, internet connectivity, and more importantly, this affordable smartphones. So if today you want to launch, let's say, a service or a digital this thing, or you want to connect with your customers, what do you require? You require a good connection, you require a mobile phone, and then you need either you launch onto some existing. We have seen people doing wonderful business, even leveraging the power of WhatsApp and platform like this. So today, if you're in tier 2 city or a tier 3 city, as long as you have a good connection, which is by every day, these connection reliability is increasing across India. It's a kind of a very exciting time for these people. And these people are in a best position because they are sitting in these tier 2 cities. They are seeing problems in their community or the kind of challenges facing. They only know how this can be solved, what will be the right way to address these problems. So therefore, I always feel if you are in tier 2, you should not feel that you are at any point at disadvantage. You should rather take it as a strength and you should bring it to your competitive advantage to be able to build solutions. But solutions have to be local, solutions have to be those 500 million people. And another great trend which has happened over the time, which has not been discussed so far, is AI and generative AI and these LLM models. We really need to build a lot of LLM models in our own language. Because when we were in governance, when we were building systems, I have built number of systems which have touched across millions and millions of people. But I always at the end used to feel, we build all these systems in English. How are these people whom we are building for farmers or we are building for those Narega workers, how will they access? At the end, they again need somebody else to help them, availing these services. Because that time, this language technology was not available in such a way that if you do a system, you roll it out in all these languages. But today we are much better as far as language technology is concerned, and I'm sure a lot of government effort is happening, a lot of startups are coming with India's own LLM models. With this, we are at a very, very exciting and very a powerful place, and with a lot of geopolitical happening around, that we should really focus, and I think we have to just start beginning. And government, as you've seen in all its programs, is even if you look at Data Protection Act, I was there with the first draft has been working. When the last draft has come, it's an enabling draft. It was not the first draft as it was there. It's basically more of empowering people to be able to leverage the data, to be able to, while following the basic principles.
Sure.
So I think it's a
No,
great
absolutely. So, the initiatives that are evolving very fast. So, Mr. Ramanathan, I'm going to come, what Neeta ma'am said, that, how AI is going to democratize and empower entrepreneurs at the tier 2, tier 3. I mean, this really is one of the most positive impacts that we are going to look forward to.
Yeah. I think it's a very important aspect that you have brought up. Actually, the India AI mission, which has been formed just a couple of years ago, has defined a very comprehensive 7-pillar framework where the whole objective is how are you going to democratize innovation, leveraging AI across the country, not just for the tier 1 cities, but also tier 2, tier 3 cities, and so on. And those 7 pillars of the framework in that 7 pillars is consisting of 1, how do I make affordable capacity available to all the tier 2, tier 3 cities in terms of GPU access, because AI needs GPUs, they need high computing power, and it's not possible for startups in tier 2, tier 3 cities to be able to get that unless there is an initiative by the government. And so 10,000 GPUs are being rolled out across the country, and so you're making compute capacity available. The second is you need lots of data, as Neeta ma'am had said, and you need clean data, so you need a unified data platform where you are able to capture the data from various public sector organizations, government organizations, as well as private sector organizations in the necessary anonymized form, and make sure that this data is available for developing AI applications and so on. The third is how do you develop applications which are specific to the needs of the country. and which is also promoting socio-economic progress. So for example, healthcare is a big need in our country. Bioinnovation is happening rapidly, and bioinnovation, whether it is preventable or diagnostic solutions that we need AI as a part of that solution. Education, how do you make sure that you are leveraging AI for educational purposes in the 650,000 villages that we have, and how are you ensuring that future skills that are being developed are aligned with the emerging AI and technology needs that people will have to know in order to be able to create solutions. The fourth thing is, how do you ensure that you have safe and trusted AI, which was also referred to by Neeta ji. And that is very important. What are the guardrails that we are going to develop? And how do we make sure that AI solves the problem that AI is creating? AI is creating problems in terms of being able to access data from multiple places, and you want to make sure that what it presents for decision making is accurate, is reliable, and therefore you need AI to be able to even address that problem. So how do you make sure that in fact, that's going to be a huge opportunity for India, providing AI as a service for testing purposes. And I think the IT industry will soon catch up on that. The other most important thing is, how do we ensure that we have sustainability and climate change being reflected in any AI solution that we are talking about. AI for good and societal good, so you cannot have AI which is creating a solution that is going to create more problems for the people. And therefore, this has become also center stage in terms of any innovation. So I just wanted to add a point to what Neeta ji said, how we are democratizing this access to this innovation. The government has taken many steps, all the departments, whether it's Atal Innovation Mission, the Department of Science and Technology, MeitY, or DBT, they have a very strong focus on inclusive innovation, tier 2, tier 3 cities innovation. In fact, 10,000 tinkering labs that have been set up in schools where AI is being taught as an integrated part of the curriculum, and other technologies like sensor technologies, IoT, robotics, and so on they are being trained. And NIC has been involved in developing curriculum to leverage CAD/CAM courses for the tinkering labs in schools. They all, 70% are in government-aided schools, 70% are in girls and co-ed schools, because we need to ensure that women empowerment and inclusivity is involved. And 900 incubators which are there in the country today, 70% of them are in tier 2, tier 3 cities. So there is much which has been done. And therefore, to the entrepreneurial world or the young students who are out there, you have an incubator to reach out, you have a tinkering lab to participate in, you have a community innovation center that has been set up. And these are all ways in which we are democratizing innovation and democratizing entrepreneurship. And that's a very good thing that we need to build upon and continue to capitalize on.
That gets me to a question which I wanted to ask in the end, but I am tempted to ask all the three panelists now, which I think one of the audience also said. What is your advice to a 20-year-old founder starting in a tier 2? I mean, it's coming from the horse's mouth. You guys are seeing it all over. So what's your real advice to this person? And this question is to all three of you.
So I can just start off, and I think the first most important thing is think local and think global and act local. For entrepreneurs who are there in tier 2, tier 3 cities, some of the best innovations will come from there because they are familiar with the problem. And when you're familiar with the problem and the acuteness of a problem, the clarity with which you develop a solution for that becomes even better. And when you create a solution for a problem in India for 1.4 billion people, you're actually creating a solution for the entire planet. So you have the opportunity, because of e-commerce, your product, your service can reach any part of the globe. And therefore, you have to think big. That is one. The second is leverage the entire ecosystem that has been created by the government. I think there is a lot of awareness building that needs to happen. The question that was asked by one of the ladies here, the schools are wondering, or colleges are wondering how to inspire entrepreneurship in the students. There is so much available: startup funding, incubator, mentorship, everything is available. So you have to make sure that you leverage all of that. And the third advice I would give is, this is your world. This is your entrepreneur's world, and anything else that you are doing is not really worth it. And when you get into this world, you will not look back. You will just look forward. It's so exciting and so exhilarating that you'll want to be part of that in the years to come.
Sure. Thank you. Dr. Nita, briefly. Yeah.
Today is the age when you heard Mr. Gurnani also in institutions like IITs, they no longer look for job placements. 50% are already entrepreneurs. So when we have so many problems around us, why not we are there to take charge of our problems and solve? So need is to create a class of influencers who can be a role model. So we have to really, because see, if you hear people's story from their own mouth, no better influence you can make and really hit upon and impact the mind of our future generation. So I think if people who have been there and done that, they are going to be the new role models, be it they are from the, even if they are part of your alumni. So invite and really take charge, and they could be the next game changers. So we have to create a class of role models. They need not be from metros, from your own community, and then inspire. Thankfully, as a whole of government approach, we have so many programs, funding schemes to navigate the valley of death. But the need is to really come out with how we really have an ecosystem for scalability. So scaling is a big issue. Thankfully, we have got 20,000 CR just to spur the growth of industrial innovation, R&D, and also for deep tech startups. So DST currently is having all the instruments to connect innovation to market value chain, because I say chain is as strong as its weakest link. So we have to hit upon and address all the weakest links we are having, but we need to really figure out how do we address and connect the various dots and address challenges. So this is the best time we need to take all the ecosystem approach to really say that youth, you have to really take up an idea and work with full passion. You will find a place to really hit upon in the market.
I basically want to say 4 things. One is solve for real life problems. Do not have some hypothetical situation and then start building a solution for this because you are passionate about it. Solve for real life problems which you see around. Second is make solutions very, very simple. Do not worry. Even if it's a small problem, India is such a huge country that once it becomes successful, it will again have a huge market for it. So start simple. And build very simple solutions, number 1. Number 2, leverage technology as much as you can. So that the idea is so that you can focus on the core problem which you are trying to solve. Other thing else you should try and leverage. There are a lot of government schemes, there are a lot of things available to you as in terms of digital public infrastructure, cloud infrastructure, a lot of incubators and all those things are there. Make use of this and be focused on the problem you're trying to solve. Third thing which I would like to basically tell you is that do a lot of networking. Networking and partnerships and collaborations is very important. Even if you see big startups who are established companies today, keep doing so many partners. So partnership with your service providers, partnership with your suppliers or with your consumers. How do you build that system where you together help each other grow and make higher adoption of your system? And the fourth thing is that leverage your data. In all this process, you create a lot of data, follow all principles, but leverage this data. From this data, leveraging this data, you can build a lot of intelligence, you can build a lot of personalized solutions, and that is where the niche comes. Even today also, if you using any app, suddenly it gives you a message which is so personal, you really feel happy about it, which is a small thing. If it does intuitively, you feel very good about it. In fact, on the other hand, if there's an app which keeps asking your name, your address again and again, you feel so irritated. That's what I'm saying. Keep it simple, Keep it innovative, solve small problems, and you will become big on its own. Thank you.
It's been an amazing panel. I know there's so much to cover. We could have easily gone for a few hours more with the wealth of knowledge that the panel brings. Please, ma'am.
A lot has been talked about. You just shared about the AI model. Happy to share, DST has started working on our own LLM. Multimodal is bharatgen.ai, led by a team of IIT Bombay, which is targeting 22 Indian languages. So we will soon be having our own Gen AI in terms of BharatGen.
So please look up to a lot of information which is available at Entrepreneur. Also, we take pride in saying that we are working towards dispersing a lot of information. With this, I'll have to thank the panel because we've run out of time. But you can meet them off stage. So thank you very much. Over to Bhavna now.